Welcome back everybody to another Fast Facts video. Today we'll be taking a look at 5 absolutely brutal medieval weapons that were used by armies to strike fear into the hearts of their enemies. But what makes a weapon brutal? Its effectiveness in battle? Its appearance? Its fear factor? Let's investigate, shall we? Number 1. Murder holes. The defense of a medieval castle would certainly be a difficult task for any army stuck under siege for up to years. Defenders would be forced to fend off armies numerous times larger than their own forces, doing whatever they could to slow the enemy down. Fortunately, having a well-established defensive position can turn the tide of the battle in the defender's favor. Murder holes are, holes strategically positioned on the castle's key defensive positions such as outer walls, gates, and towers. When the unlucky enemy found themselves positioned beneath these murder holes, the defender would drop boiling oil, water, or burning hot sand that's not very good for Vader, which would incapacitate anyone beneath, severely maiming or mutilating them. Number 2. Caltrops. These were iron, star-shaped spikes that would be thrown in front of enemy lines, or in defensive positions to limit the effectiveness of enemy attacks. Although these contraptions may not look particularly scary, one wrong step would land the enemy in a world of pain. These weapons were used to great effect against cavalry charges, where unsuspecting generals would lead their troops in a fast-moving charge against infantry, only to be stopped dead in their tracks as horses would trip over and fall from the caltrops, impaling them and their riders on the way down. Number 3. Greek fire. This legendary weapon turned the entire tide of conflicts in the favor of the Eastern Roman Empire, otherwise known as the Byzantine Empire. The fate of the empire was looking dire, as invading Arab forces had taken over almost half the empire and placed the capital of Constantinople under siege. With a massive armada at their disposal, the Arab forces headed to face the Byzantine fleet, not realizing the enemy had developed a medieval superweapon. The recipe of Greek fire remains unknown today, as it was so closely guarded in fear that the enemy would discover it that it was eventually lost. Historians believe that it was somewhat similar to napalm due to the accounts that water did not extinguish the flames, and that the fire burned and spread uncontrollably. The Arab fleet was obliterated, with sailors being scorched to a crisp, allowing the Byzantines to turn the tide of war and securing victory. Number 4. The war elephant. These gigantic beasts may seem like gentle giants to some. However, when trained and angry, the elephants would become terrifying killing machines, trampling soldiers and stopping enemy cavalry dead in their tracks. Although in the time of the Roman Empire, elephants made multiple appearances in the West, they were mainly used in the Middle East and the rest of Asia throughout the medieval period. Trained to disarm enemy spearmen, knock over cavalry, and stomp on the infantry, virtually nothing could bring them down on the battlefield. However, war elephants were often more dangerous to their handlers than the enemy itself. During the siege of Edessa in 6th century, the Byzantines dangled a single pig from the city walls using rope when faced by a Persian elephant. When confronted by the loud squealing of the pig, the elephant quickly became frightened, turned around, and trampled over friendly lines, saving the city. Nevertheless, these unstoppable war elephants were a brutal weapon on the battlefield. Number 5. The Trebuchet. Catapults, ballista, and other siege weapons became a more frequent sight on the battlefield throughout the age of the Roman Empire. However, siege weaponry was significantly developed upon in the medieval era. The Trebuchet was an enormous siege weapon, with a single arm and counterweight that would hurl boulders hundreds of meters, sending them crashing into the enemy lines, or fortifications. The largest Trebuchet constructed is believed to be the War Wolf, which King Edward used to intimidate the Scots into surrendering at Stirling. A single shot from the weapon was said to have brought down the gatehouse of the castle. When the weapon was still being constructed, the Scots attempted to surrender at the mere sight of it, which spelled doom for Stirling Castle. Hope you enjoyed this Fast Facts video. Please leave a like and subscribe here if you aren't already. I will see you in the next episode. Have a great day.